Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? This is a big day for GameStop. This kind of boils down to what could only be described as the first day of the rest of its life. At least that's what it feels like to me. I mean, all things considered, anything could happen. But really, when you think about GameStop, you kind of don't think good things. I mean, really, when's the last time you thought positively about GameStop? Remember back like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when you'd make the trip to GameStop and it kind of felt like you were going to a store specifically for you, that it would have one wall for Nintendo, one wall for Sony, one wall for Xbox, and then you would maybe find some of the little toys and the other ancillary things and the merchandise, right? And you're like, this is my home. This is Mecca. And it would be housed and employed by nerds you could have full-on conversations with about geeky things. It was like the barbershop for geeks. And then the corporate side of GameStop started taking over. They started getting rid of the movies and Blu-rays. They weren't trading them in or selling them anymore. They started replacing some of the games with Funko Pops. They started, just leaning heavier and heavier and heavier into the merchandise side of things. You could go to GameStop and purchase a download card for a game. A little bit weird if you ask me. Why not just go on and buy it yourself from the store, whatever you choose? But I mean, this is what GameStop ultimately did, and they've been tanking for a long time as a result. And even though we're going to look at this article here, I want to start off by showing you guys this. This is GameStop's stock over the span of the last year. We can see here that it peaked the last time on June 4th, 2019. Where it hit $7.82 a share. And today, even with this announcement that Reggie Fils Aime is coming on board and his popularity and success with Nintendo, it is only sitting at $3.70. I mean, even go back 5 years. I mean, look at here. It was up to 30. It was up to what was this year? It had a height of about 40 some odd a share, right? 44, 47 a share. And then that was a couple years ago. That was in 2015 when you could argue GameStop was at its height. And then just look at it now, from $40 a share down to $3.70 a share. GameStop is not in a good place. They're not. They haven't been for quite some time. We're coming up on 5 years now of them trying to do anything they can to stay afloat. So they brought in Reggie and a couple other guys who've got some business expertise, right? One of them here is a dude named Bill Simon, who's got 30 years of executive experience in various industries, and he's joined by J.K. Semanik, who was the president and chief executive of PetSmart. Because when I think about buying video games, I kind of want to associate it with puppy mills and overpriced toy accessories at PetSmart. But then again, it was a niche brand. It's a niche market. Pet ownership is still surprisingly niche, but yeah. And so now they're going with Reggie, hoping that his expertise from Nintendo will help him and help them. Now, it does say here, this is their statement, saying that the board refreshment, and the reason why they say refreshment is that the previous 4 heads of the board are all stepping down, retiring in June of this year, and they now need to get new blood in there to hopes to save the several thousand locations they still have. I think I know they've got a lot. They've got a couple thousand, I think. Now, it says here, the board refreshment and governance enhancements announced today represent an important milestone in GameStop's transformation as we continue to evolve the company's business strategy for long-term success. This is coming from George Sherman, the chief executive of GameStop, saying, "We are pleased to welcome Reggie, Bill, and JK to the board. They are each highly qualified and bring significant relevant experience to our turnaround. We look forward to immediately benefiting from their expertise and perspective as we navigate the evolving gaming and retail environments, execute on our strategic initiatives, and prepare the company to maximize the value creation associated with the next generation of console launches this year." Now, I would argue that the console launches for this year are going to probably end up getting delayed. I just kind of feel like that's going to happen. I just kind of feel like at this point now, with the way the current stock market is going and the fear of the virus floating around out there, and how China is very heavily impacted. I mean, hell, Italy is almost entirely on lockdown today. The country of Italy is almost entirely on lockdown today. One could argue that we're not going to see the PS5 or Xbox Series X this year. And hey, listen, I'm still working on The Witcher 3, so by all means, take your time. Plus, we have Cyberpunk 2077 coming out, so really take your time. You're all good. You have plenty of time. As a gamer's perspective, I say that. But really the question becomes, can Reggie and everyone, all eyes in gaming that care about gaming, everyone's eyes are on Reggie. The two other dudes, they don't care about that. Like, oh yeah, you know, you got 30 years of various experience. I don't care. Oh, that guy ran PetSmart. Well, if I need help in purchasing the right cone for my dog, so he doesn't, you know, bite the stitches on his scrot from just getting neutered, then I'll talk to that guy. But if I need help trying to figure out how to get into handheld gaming over here on in Nintendo, I'm gonna talk to Reggie. And this is what gamers are looking at. So then it becomes a question: can Reggie save GameStop? And the truth of the matter is, nothing at this point can really save GameStop, at least in what I think we knew GameStop as when it was at its height, when it was at its peak. Like I said, when it was like the barbershop of gaming. But it could be that way again. And I honestly should kind of lean into that. I would argue that that might be the best course of action for GameStop, for Reggie to come on in and go, here's what the gamers want. Because that is, at the end of the day, what you have to ask. You know, these are the people that are going to be going here, right? When you go in to GameStop to buy clothing, to go in there to buy merchandise, it almost seems like you're just walking into a Spencer's or a Hot Topic. I mean, all the same stuff is there, right? Same kind of nerdy, geeky culture stuff it's prevalent. So there's nothing unique about going to GameStop. Oh, do you want a Funko Pop? They're literally everywhere. I live in Washington. Their home office is about an hour north of Seattle. All right. Like their home store. Trust me, this whole state is sponsored by Funko Pops. So it's like, again, that's not unique. Those are everywhere. You can find them everywhere, and it doesn't matter. Those are like, they're the new Beanie Babies. So what can GameStop do with Reggie on the board that's going to help guide them towards the path of success? Well, to be fair, to be realistic, they're going to have to start really diving into gaming culture. Now, gaming is in a weird place because we do have like LAN parties still, or online stuff that I think GameStop has tried to dive in at least one or two times before into doing like the kind of like the, you know, on the cyber cafe sort of thing, where people could come in and play games. And I think they should lean into that. If you want my honest opinion, like bring in, like have a Switch night. Right? Have a Switch night where people come bring their Switches in and they all play multiplayer. Get pizza, get drinks, make it a big event. People will come on in and they'll buy some Switch accessories, or they'll buy, you know, oh, I didn't bring my charger, I got to buy a charger, or oh, I want to buy that game because everyone else here is playing that game. If you got to bring the people to the location, you got to bring them there. You could have people bring in monitors and PS4s and hook it all up online in order to play games, right? Or like have these things become a local Friday night fights or Friday night Magic or something like that. You know, I mean, the thing is, local people in this area, local people organize these events when really, and the biggest trouble they have are finding the locations for them. One of the places that my younger brother was going to was a little game store that ultimately had to close down due to rising rent increases and people not buying as much. But GameStop still has all of that retail space, and they could find a way to make it some kind of marketable thing. You know, they could offer up the ability to come on in for these events and make it part of the Power Club. You know, oh, you pay $20 a year, you get access to this kind of special in-store stuff, and we're going to work deals with Nintendo or deals with Sony or deals with Microsoft or whomever in order to really start pushing this extra content on you and then get you guys to start buying into it again. The thing is, you have to get people excited to go to GameStop. No one's excited to go to GameStop. I mean, I'm a nerd. I love walking around in Best Buy and Target nerdy side sections to see what they got there, but I actively avoid going to GameStop. I don't think I've stepped foot in one now for almost a whole year, and I don't care. Nothing about it interests me. If I walk into one, I look around, I'm like, oh, that's overpriced, that's overpriced, I already got that. I don't really care about figurines. I don't care about Funko Pops. I don't care about buying Mario Brothers merch. I don't care about buying any of this stuff. I'm here for the games. Oh, the games are getting shorter and shorter and smaller, and you still charge an assload for used titles. GameStop has gone through an identity crisis for many years, and I can relate and understand that. But at the end of the day, it's dying. It's a dying retail format. But they can inject some new lifeblood into it if they start turning to the community and making it community driven, rather than just trying to hope that parents come in and buy their kids Grand Theft Auto 5 without ever actually checking to see what the hell it is. But anyway, I leave it to you, your thoughts, your opinions. Do you think Reggie's going to save the day? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.